Studio Surreal News, where the real is surreal. Thank you for joining me on another segment. Before I start, do me a favor, hit that like button for the YouTube gods. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe, hit that share. You know what I'm saying? Utilize these buttons that we have on this platform, please. I appreciate it. Ring that bell so you get notified when I do lives, when I do my segments, so you guys always stay in the know of when I'm doing this. Shout out to all my supporters out there and everybody that contributed, everybody that will contribute. I appreciate you guys. And we'll go ahead and jump this off here. I don't think there's any more to the intro that I wanted to point out. Of course, you know you can follow me on all social media. Links will be in the description below. So check out the descriptions below. Check out the descriptions. And love, peace, and light. So let's get into it. We're gonna start with this story that I came across from a subscriber of mine and a person that actually contributes to the show, Surrealistic Studios, Surreal News. And I wanted to put some light on it because it was pretty interesting, and it's something that we all can, you know what I'm saying, benefit from. It's something that we all go through. And it's about the hospital prices here. So everybody needs the hospital. We always talk about Medicare for all. So this is just another reason why we need it, you know? So we have to continuously fight for these things. And by the way, somebody said in the comments section, and I believe they were from out of the country, they said, we need to fight for third parties as much as we're fighting for Medicare for all. And that just rung a bell in my head, and it was like, you know what? I think you're right though. Like that I mean, we all knew that that was important, but to say that like that though, we need it just as much as you need Medicare for all. Like it's a life or death situation. That's how much we need third and fourth and fifth and sixth parties in this country. But the duopoly is keeping us all down. It's keeping us divided. It's keeping us fighting back and forth, left and right, right and left, Democrat, Republican, whatever you want to say. And we're not getting anything for the actual people. You know, so that just kind of like made me think when I heard that. But we'll get into the story here. This is one of the stories or one of the articles that they suggested it to me. And it's actually from earlier this year, January 5th, 2021. This is from khn.org. Hospital prices just got a lot more transparent. What does this mean for you? And so bear with me as we get through this article here. Hospitals face the new year with new requirements to post price information they have long sought to obscure. The actual prices negotiated with insurers and the discounts they offer for their cash-paying customers. So they're basically trying to make the prices at the hospitals more transparent for the customers, and they'll dive into that here. And they're saying that basically they try to obscure that stuff so that we don't know. We don't know which hospitals charge what, and we could be getting a way cheaper price at a different hospital, and we would never know the difference. You know, people may want to drive the extra distance just to get that cheaper price for whatever they need, you know. So this is actually a good thing that they're pushing for transparency. And it goes to say, here we go. The move is part of a larger push by the Trump administration to use price transparency to curtail prices and create better informed consumers. Yet there is a disagreement on whether it will do so. As of January 1st, facilities must publicly post on their websites prices for every service, drug, and supply they provide. Next year, under a separate rule, health insurers must take similar steps. A related effort to force drug makers to list their prices in advertisements was struck down by the courts. With the new hospital rule, consumers should be able to see the tremendous variation in prices for the exact same care among hospitals and get an estimate of what they will be charged for care before they seek it. So you see how this would be beneficial. The new data requirements go well beyond the previous rule of requiring hospitals to post their charge masters hospital-generated list prices that bear little relation to what it costs at a hospital, for what it costs that hospital to provide care, and that few consumers or insurers actually pay. Instead, under the new rule put forward by the Trump administration, these are the real prices in healthcare, said Cynthia Fisher, founder and chairman of Patient Rights Advocate, a group that promotes price transparency. Here's what consumers should know. What's the scope of the intel? Each hospital must post publicly online and in a machine-readable format easy to process by computers. Several prices for every item and service they provide. Gross charges, the actual and most likely far lower prices they negotiated with insurers, including de-identified minimum and maximum negotiated charges, and the cash price they charge or they offer patients who are uninsured but not using their insurance. I'm sorry, who are uninsured or not using their insurance. In addition, each hospital must make available in a consumer-friendly format the specific cost for 300 common and shoppable services, such as having a baby, getting a joint replacement, having a hernia repair, or undergoing a diagnostic brain scan. Those 300 bundles of procedures and services must total all costs involved, from the hardware used to the operating room time, to drugs given and the fees of hospital employed physicians. So patients won't have to attempt the nearly impossible job of figuring out themselves. Hospitals can mostly select which services fall into this category, although the federal government has dictated 70 that must be listed, including certain surgeries, diagnostic tests, imaging scans, new patient visits, and psychotherapy sessions. It says, will prices be exact? No. At best, these are ballpark figures. Other factors influence consumers' costs, like the type of insurance plan a patient has, the size and remaining amount of the annual deductible, and the complexity of the medical problem. An estimate on a surgery, for example, might prove inexact. If all goes as expected, the price quoted likely will be close, but unexpected complications could arise, adding to the cost. You'll get the average price, but you are not average, said Gerard Anderson, a professor of health policy and management at the Johns Hopkins Bloomberg School of Public Health, who studies hospital pricing. Damn, this dude just studies hospital pricing. That's what he does. That's crazy. Tools to help consumers determine in advance the amount of deductible they'll owe are already available from many insurers, and experts expect the additional information being made available this month will prompt entrepreneurs to create their own apps or services to help consumers analyze the price data. For now, though, the hospital requirements are a worthy start, says experts. It's very good news for consumers, said George Nation, a professor of law and business at Leahy University who studies hospital pricing. Another one who studies hospital pricing. That's crazy. That you can get a whole job out here just studying prices. Wow. Individuals will be able to get price information, although how much they are going to use it will remain to be seen. Will consumers use this info? Who else might? Zach Cooper, an associate professor of public health and economics at Yale, doubts that the data alone will make much of a difference for most consumers. It's not likely that my neighbor, or me for that matter, will go on and look at prices and therefore dramatically change decisions about where to get care, he said. We might. Especially when the prices are super exorbitant and it might be $4,000 over here and it might be like $800 over here. You might, Some cost information is already made available by insurers to their enrollees, particularly out-of-pocket costs for elective services, but most people don't consult it, he added. That could be because many consumers carry types of insurance in which they pay flat dollar co-payments for such things as doctor visits, drugs, or hospital stays that have no correlation to the underlying charges. Still, the information may be of great interest to the uninsured and to the increasing number of Americans with high deductible plans in which they are responsible for hundreds or even thousands of dollars in cost annually before their insurer begins picking up the bulk of the cost. You see how complicated this stuff is? You see why we need Medicare for all? This is how complicated they make this. For them, the negotiated rate and cash discount information may prove more useful, said Nation at Leahy. If I have a $10,000 deductible plan and it's December, and I'm not close to meeting that, I may go to a hospital and try to get the cash price, said Nation. Employers, however, may have a keen interest in the new data, said James Gelfand, Senior Vice President at the ERISA, or ERISA Industry Committee, which lobbies on behalf of large employers that offer health insurance to their workers. They'll want to know how much they are paying each hospital compared to others in the area and how well their insurers stack up in negotiated rates, he said. For some employers, he said, it could be eye-opening to see how hospitals cross-subsidize by charging exorbitant amounts for some things and minimal amounts for others. The rule that puts that all into light, said Galfand, when an employer when an employer sees these ridiculous prices for the first time, they will have the ability to say no. That could mean rejecting specific prices or the hospital entirely, cutting it out of the employer's plan or the employer plan's insurance network. But typically, employers can't or won't limit workers' choices by outright cutting a hospital from an insurance network. More likely, they may use the information to create financial incentives to use the lowest cost facilities, said Anderson at Johns Hopkins. If I'm an employer, I'll look at 3 hospitals in my area and say, I'll pay the price for the lowest one. If you want to go to one of the other 2, you can pay the difference, said Anderson. Of course, we know how capitalism and business works. Will price transparency reduce overall health spending? Revealing actual negotiated prices, as this rule requires, may push the more expensive hospitals in an area to reduce prices in future bargaining talks with insurers or employers, potentially lowering health spending in those regions. It could also go the other way, with lower cost hospitals demanding a raise, driving up spending. Bottom line, price transparency can help, but the market power of the various players might matter more. In some places where there may be one dominant hospital, even more employers who know they're getting ripped off may not feel they can cut out a big brand name facility from their network or from their networks, no matter the price, said Anderson. Is the rule change a done deal? The hospital industry went to court arguing that parts of the rule go too far, violating their First Amendment rights and also unfairly forcing hospitals to disclose trade secrets. Violating their First Amendment rights and also unfairly forcing hospitals to disclose trade secrets. Because corporations are people too. That information, the industry said, can then be used against them in the negotiations with insurers and employers. But the U.S. District Court for the District of Columbia disagreed with the hospitals and upheld the rule, prompting an appeal by the industry. On December 29th, the U.S. Court of Appeals for the District of Columbia affirmed that the lower court decision and did not block the, I'm sorry, I got to read that completely over again. On December 29th, the U.S. Court of Appeals for the District of Columbia affirmed that lower court decision and did not block the rule. Okay, I don't know why my brain was reading that wrong. In a written statement last week, the American Hospital Association's general counsel cited disappointment with the ruling and said the organization is reviewing the decision to carefully examine the next steps. Apart from litigation, the American Hospital Association plans to talk with the incoming Biden administration to try to persuade them there are some elements to this rule and the insurer rule that are I'm sorry, that is weird. To try to persuade, and they got the same quotation marks. So to try to persuade them, there are some elements to this rule and the insurer rule that are tricky. Okay, said Tom Nichols, an executive vice president of the trade group. We want to be of help to consumers, but it is really in the people's best interest to provide we want to be in the help of consumers, but is it really in the people's best interest to provide privately negotiated rates? Exactly. Fisher thinks so. Hospitals are fighting this because they want to keep their negotiated deals with the insurers secret. Exactly. She said, what these rules do is give the American consumer the power of being informed. Okay, so we stumbled through, we made it all the way to the end of the article. Basically, the gist of it is we now have more transparency in hospital prices. But as you can see, or as you heard, the hospitals are, fighting this. They don't want these things to go through. They don't want Medicare for all. They're fighting this all for what? For money, for profit, for control over people's lives and the deaths of people. This is the kind of complications that we have to put ourselves through, all because they don't want to give us Medicare for all. All right, so I thought that was an interesting article there. There is actually a follow-up to this. where they explain and they go into detail about the pricing of certain operations and certain procedures. And they even say that, you know, a lot of this stuff that the hospitals are supposed to be doing, literally by law, they're not complying. They're not doing it. They're not making this stuff accessible, and they're not making it clear. They're not making it. A lot of these hospitals are just not doing it at all. Let's see. Hospitals have started posting their prices online, and here's what they've revealed. So this is going to be from National Public Radio, Inc. And we'll see here. Let me go in a brief little scroll here. All right, yeah. So this is going to dive in deeper into that. I just want to say, if you guys are getting here, or if you missed the beginning, go ahead and hit the description. You can find all my information in there. My Twitter, LB_THAREALIST, LB_TheRealist. Instagram, Facebook. I got an Anchor.fm that I occasionally do podcasts on and stuff like that. So go ahead and hit all my socials. Yeah, this is something crazy right here. I should go ahead and then just go ahead and let this out right here. Because it's pretty cool. I thought it was pretty cool. You know, I thought it was pretty cool. Jimmy Dore is following your boy on Twitter. I forgot to mention that yesterday. I'm sorry, my bad. I forgot to mention, not only did he share my video on Twitter, but he followed me on Twitter. That feels pretty good. You know, being a viewer for so long and then getting not only Anna-Kasparian to block you on Twitter. We got Jimmy Dore to follow us on Twitter too. So he's following everything I say and then everything that I do. It's like, you know what I'm saying? Like, that's pretty cool. You know what I'm saying? And I know those of you that's gonna call me Jimmy Dore or sycophant or doorknob. Yeah, I see y'all in the comment section talking about Jimmy Dore fans or doorknobs. Yeah, okay, good one. You know, at least Jimmy talks about real stuff that matters to real people. He has real people on his show. You know, at least he's not a warmongering neoliberal like some of these other lefty shows out here. Can't stand some of these guys. And you know what's funny? And I wanted to bring this point up too. Before we get into this next story right here, I wanted to bring this point up. This whole situation with Jimmy Dore, TYT, Aaron Matei, you know, Anna Jank, and all. Now Glenn Greenwald is getting attacked by I almost said TNT, TYC, or I don't even remember their name anymore. TYT, yeah, there you go. You know, Glenn Greenwald is getting attacked by TYT. This whole thing, and a lot of people see it as infighting. I read another comment, and I love when you guys read comments or I love when you guys leave comments because I get to learn so much more than what I already know. I'm a sponge. I love sponging up anything that I can. You know, and this person left a comment, and I don't have the comment in front of me. Excuse me. It basically says something to the extent of, it's not infighting because we're technically not who they are. A lot of us that are here on this channel, you may be watching me now. I don't know if you're a fan of TYT or whatever, but a lot of us, we're not exactly on the same political spectrum. Why? Because the strategy that we disagree on goes into the type of politics that we play. It goes into the type of people that we are. And if you're only about one way, that's usually about, you know, the way of the system, that's kind of like not what we believe. So I don't know how you guys feel, but for me, this is my realization that I was never a TYT fan, really. They were who we had at the time, and that's just what it was. We have more options now. We know better now. You know, and if you still like TYT, that's fine. You know, maybe one day you'll think differently, maybe not. You know, that's your life. But for me, I'm not pro-war. I'm not pro-imperialism. I'm not pro-intervention. I'm not any of those things involving us being in another country. I'm pro, let's get the heck up out of here and let them figure it out. Yeah, pull it. No, we gotta leave. We gotta leave. We've been there way too long. We gotta go. No, we don't need to be in somebody else's country. And then we attack other people's country and it claims self-defense. Who does that? Where they do that at? And that's why I got this shirt. I came up with the design for this shirt because it perfectly describes how I feel about my country. And it says, I love my country, but damn. And it has a picture of the American flag because I do love my country, with two assault rifles with splatters and a star. I love my country, but damn, because we, we have a beautiful country, we got beautiful people, we got all this, but we tend to be some hypocritical. We do a lot of harm. We do a lot of harm, y'all. You know what I'm saying? And I don't fit in with the crowd that thinks that that kind of stuff is okay, that thinks that we need to be in every country in the world. I don't get down like that. I just don't believe that. So if I'm not a lefty or a liberal or a progressive, I don't know what I am. I know that whatever TYT is what I'm not. I know I'm not on the right either. For those of you watching, you ain't gonna get me. You're not gonna get me. No, 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 no. I mean, I know there's a lot of people on the right that agree with a lot of lefties, so I'm not gonna minimize that at all. Not at all. But it's not about Democrat or Republican. I can't join a party and feel like I belong to this. Just like I can't be a cop because I look at cops and I don't see myself in. I don't see myself in them. I don't see a reflection of myself. You know what I'm saying? So I'm not whatever TYT is. Whatever they are, they can have it. I'm more of a Jimmy Dore radical. You know, I'm more of a real true, you know, progressive that believes in. I'm gonna just tell you what I believe: love, peace, and light. That's it. That's it. And no, I'll criticize you, I'll debate you, but I will not try to actively hate you. You know, I'm about love, peace, and light. What's the light? The light is the knowledge. The light is the justice, the equality. You know what I'm saying? It's what makes us human. You know what I'm saying? That's the light. You know what I'm saying? Love, peace, and light. That's what I'm about, folks. So I'm gonna take a quick break. I'm gonna leave this on. If you guys want to stay and hang out, kick it, hit the comment section. I'm gonna go ahead and read some comments. If you guys want to ask me some questions, we can go ahead and do that. And then I want to jump into this article if I have enough time here, because I gotta get out the doors. Oh, okay, okay. Yeah. So let's do that. So get some questions ready for me. Not right now. I'll be back in like 1 or 2 minutes. Give me some time, and I'll be right back. All right, folks. What's up? So, do we have any questions before I get into this next story? Do we have any questions? Does anybody want to say anything? Anybody have a comment they want me to read? Let's see. Progressives are right wing because radical left wingers have claimed the term for themselves, but no. Let's see. Me. What's the question? And shout out Marduk. Appreciate you guys. You already know. If you haven't already, hit that like button for me. Hit that like button so we can please the YouTube guys and algorithm. Comment when I'm done. Subscribe. Hit that ring or the bell. You said that you're only half men. What is that? Is that to me? Are you asking me, or is that? I also blame Jill Pike. If she hadn't left TYT, Anna wouldn't have gotten the gig. But I mostly blame Anna's. Stop it. You're no shaming. You're no shaming. I'm a white lady. Add it to your subs. Hey, I appreciate, first of all the white ladies. No, seriously, I appreciate all the women that came out and supported me. Like a lot of women jumped on, and because I said, you know what? And I think we're up to like 12 point something, 12.4 women, 12.4 females now. So kudos to all the women that came through, you know? Let's see. This was from Arctic to Blue Bell 51. Health insurance is a socialist program because paying into it is mandatory under the current rules. The beneficiary doesn't make it not socialist. It just makes it not good. Let's see. I'm a native grandmother. Got you. You got my sub. I appreciate you. Thank you so much, Blue Bell 51. Did you see Anna's old schnoz? Well, she didn't like it. Hey, I'm a strong advocate of loving the way God or the universe made you. You know, love it. You know, it's a shame when people go too far. You know, but if that's how they feel beautiful and if that's what they want to do and they're comfortable with that, then that's fine. You know, it's just. Let's see. No, there's no left-wing capitalist. There are wait, no, there are left-wing capitalists, but that's a well-regulated capitalism. Nothing like what we have now. Absolutely perfect. Loving your videos. I appreciate you guys. Sorry, we're mostly talking among ourselves. No, you're all good. Surely anything runs. Wait, you guys are moving fast now. Surely anything run for profit can be socialist. No nose shaming, have pierced ears too. Yeah, don't nose shame. I was recently in the hospital for 2 weeks where I almost died. Oh my goodness, from a ruptured aneurysm. I survived surgery and the total cost was $45. Canada can afford universal health care. Why not the US? Hey, that's crazy, man. That's crazy. Yeah, I'm glad you were able to do that because so many people can't. This is a 420 celebration for doors following. This is a 420 celebration for doors following. It's not four, it's way past 420. Am I tripping? What time is it? I can't even see. Socialist billionaires only in U.S. No bailouts for plebs. Let's see. You can't be socialist. You can't be a capitalist and be left wing, right? Cheer for a great show, man. Gotta turn in because it's way late in here, late here in the UK. Yeah, I feel you. All right, man. Good looking. I appreciate you guys. Did you ever have Jimmy on your show? No, I never had Jimmy on the show. It costs $45 for a box of Kleenex. It's possible to have a socialist endeavor that makes a profit. It's a question of who gets the profit. Let's see. Night boom. It's a night boom. Corporate money plus politician equals fascism. Wow. All right, so we're going to go ahead and jump into the story here. Let's see. Yeah, let's go ahead and jump into this last article here. So this is a continuation of the first article that I read. And the first article that I read basically was saying that hospital prices are becoming more transparent by law in the hospitals. The hospitals have to make transparent prices for their customers. You know what I'm saying? It's supposed to be patients, but we're really customers because it's all a business, right? So let's see. This article is from July 2nd, 2021. So fairly recently here. Hospitals have started posting their prices online. Here's what they reveal. A colonoscopy might cost you or your insurer a few $100s or several thousand, depending on which hospital or insurer you use. Tell me again why we don't need Medicare for all? It just makes it so simple. Long hidden, such price variations are supposed to be available in stark black and white under a Trump administration price transparency rule that took effect at the start of this year. It requires hospitals to post a range of actual prices, everything from the rates they offer cash-paying customers to cost negotiated with insurers. Many have complied, but some hospitals buried the data deep on their websites or have not included all the categories of prices required, according to industry analysts. A sizable minority of hospitals have not disclose the information at all. So they're just not complying at all. And that's how much they'll go. That's how far they'll go. They just that the law. Y'all know Soldier Boy, Big Draco, Drake, the law. Who cares about the law? That's how they act. That's how they get away with it too, and they get fined. They just pay the fines. They just pay the fines. While imperfect and potentially of limited use right now to the average consumer, the disclosures that are available illustrate the huge differences in prices nationally, regionally, and within the same hospital. But they're challenging for consumers and employers to use, giving a boost to a cottage industry that analyzes the data. Oh, excuse me. While it's still an unanswered question about whether price transparency will lead to overall lower prices, KHN took a dive into the initial trove of data to see what it reveals. Here are 5 takeaways from the newly public data and tips for how you might be able to use it to your benefit. So if this is of value to you in any kind of way, whether it be for actual knowledge or whether it be for just entertainment, whatever the case may be, go ahead and hit that like button for me, comment, subscribe, and share. All right, so number 1, as expected, prices are all over the map. The idea behind the requirement to release prices is that the transparency may prompt consumers to shop around, weighing cost and quality. Perhaps they could save a few $100s by getting their surgery or imaging test across town instead of at a nearby clinic or hospital. That's going to overcharge them. I added that last part, obviously. Under the Trump-era rule, hospitals must post what they accept from all insurers for thousands of line items, including each drug, procedure, or treatment they provide. In addition, hospitals must present this in a format easily readable by computers and include a consumer-friendly separate listing of 300 shoppable services, bundling the full price a hospital accepts for a given treatment, such as having a baby or getting a hip replacement. Let's see, the negotiating rates now being posted publicly often show an individual hospital accepting a wide range of prices for the same service, depending on the insurer, often based on how much negotiating power each has in a market. In some cases, the cash-only price is less than what insurers pay, and prices may vary widely within the same city or region. In Virginia, for example, the average price of a diagnostic colonoscopy is $2,763, but the range across the state is from $208 to $10,563. According to a database aggregated by San Diego-based Turquoise Health, one of the new firms looking to market the data to businesses while offering some information free of charge to patients. Wow, that is an incredible jump from $208 to $10,563. This is for a diagnostic colonoscopy. My goodness gracious. Okay, here we go. And if you guys want to go ahead and converse in the comment section, go ahead. I don't mind at all. Some of this stuff can be a little dreary, I understand, but I thought it was a great story, and it's something that we should all be aware of. Because I wasn't aware of this at all. Number 2, patients can look up the information, but it's incomplete. Patients can try to find the price information themselves by searching hospital websites, but even locating the correct tab on a hospital's website is tricky. Typically, consumers don't comparison shop, preferring to choose convenience or the provider their doctor recommends. A recent Peterson KFF health system tracker brief, for instance, found that 85% of adults said they had not researched online the price of a hospital treatment. And hospitals say the transparency push alone won't help consumers much because each patient's situation is different and may vary. And individual deductibles and insurance plans complicate matters. This whole thing is one big complication. Let's see. But if you want to try, here's one tip. You can Google the hospital's name and the words price transparency and see where that takes you. So you Google the hospital's name and price transparency. Says Caitlin Sheets, director and head of analytics at the consulting firm ADVI Health in the Washington, D.C. metro area. Typing in MedStar Health Hospital Transparency, for example, likely points to the MedStar Washington Hospital Center's Price Transparency Disclosure page, with the link to its full list of prices as well as its separate list of 300 shoppable services. By clicking on the list of shoppable services, consumers can download an Excel file. Searching it for colonoscopy pulls up several variations of the procedure along with prices for different insurers, such as Aetna and Cigna, but a not available designation for the cash only price. I'm sorry, I read that wrong. That was a long sentence. Hold on. Such as Aetna and Cigna, but a not available designation for the cash only price. Okay. The file explains that MedStar does not have a standard cash price, but makes determinations case by case. Performing the same Google search for the nearby Innova Health system results in less useful information. Innova's website links to a long list of thousands of charges, which are not the discounts negotiated by insurers, and the list is not easily searchable. The website advises those who are not Innova patients or who would like to create their own estimate to log into the hospital's MyChart system, but a search on that for colonoscopy failed to produce any data. Wow. So they're just making it really difficult for folks. They're not trying to make it easy for us at all. All right, here we go. Third-party firms. Number 3, third-party firms are trying to make searching prices simpler and cash in. Because of the difficulty of navigating these websites or locating the negotiated prices once there, some consumers may turn to sites like Turquoise. Another search firm is Health Cost Labs, which will have pricing information for 2,300 hospitals in its database when it goes live this month. Doing a similar search for colonoscopy on Turquoise shows the prices at MedStar by insurer, but the process is still complicated. First, the consumer must select the health system button from the website's menu of options, click on surgical procedures, and then click again on digestive to get onto it. To get to it. There is no similar information for Innova because the hospital has not yet made its database or data accessible in a computer-friendly format, says Chris Severn, CEO of Turquoise. Innova spokesperson Tracy Connell said in a written statement that the health system will create personalized estimates for patients and is currently working to post information on negotiated prices and discounts on services. Firms like Turquoise and Health Cost Labs aim to sell the data gathered from hospitals nationally to insurers, employers, and others. In turn, those groups may use it in negotiations with hospitals over future prices, while that may drive down prices in areas with a lot of competition. It might do the opposite, where there are few hospitals to choose from, or when a hospital raises its prices to match competitors. So they're saying basically this might have the opposite effect, and prices may not go down, but they might go up just so they can compete. So number 4, consumers could use this data to negotiate, especially if they're paying cash. For consumers who go the distance and can find price data from their hospitals, it may prove helpful in certain situations. Let's see, it says patients who are paying cash or who have unmet deductibles may want to compare prices among hospitals to see whether driving further could save them money. Insured or uninsured patients could ask the hospital for the cash price or attempt to negotiate for the lowest amount the facility accepts from insurers. Insured patients who get a bill for out-of-network care may find the information helpful because it could empower them to negotiate a discount off the hospital's gross charges for that care. While there's no guarantee of success, if you are uninsured or out of network, you could point to some of those prices and say, that's what I want, says Barack Richmond, a contract law expert and professor of law at Duke University's School of Law. But the data may not help insured patients who notice their prices are higher than those negotiated by other insurers. In those cases, legal experts say the insured patients are likely to get a bill changed because they have a contract with that insurer, which has negotiated the price with their contracted hospitals. Legally, a contract is a contract, says Mark Hall, a health law professor at Wake Forest University. Richmond agrees. You can't say, well, you charge that person less, he notes, but neither can say they'll charge you more. Getting the data, however, relies on the hospital having posted it in the first place. Number 5, hospitals still aren't really on board. When it comes to compliance, we're seeing a range of the spectrum, says Jeffrey Layback, a partner on the consulting firm Guidehouse, which found earlier this year that about 60% of 1,000 hospitals surveyed had posted at least some data, but 30% had reported nothing at all. Let's see here. I'll be right back. Just one moment here. Oh man, I was feeling parched. All right, let's see. So where were we? When it comes to compliance, we're seeing the range of the spectrum, says Jeffrey Layback, a partner of the consulting firm Guidehouse, which found earlier this year that about 60% of 1,000 hospitals surveyed had posted at least some data, but 30% had reported nothing at all. 30%. Many in the hospital industry have long fought transparency efforts, with some hospital groups even filing a lawsuit seeking to block the new rule. The suit was dismissed by a federal judge last year, thank goodness. They argue the rule is unclear and overly burdensome. Additionally, hospitals haven't wanted their prices exposed, knowing that competitors might then adjust theirs or that health plans could demand lower rates. Conversely, lower cost hospitals might decide to raise prices to match competitors. My acid reflex. Let's see. The rule stems from requirements in the Affordable Care Act. The Obama administration's required hospitals to post their charge master rates, which are less useful because they are generally inflated. Hospitals set amounts that are almost never what is actually paid. Insurers and hospitals are also bracing for the year when even more data is set to come online. Insurance will be required to post negotiated prices for medical care across a broader range of facilities, including clinics and doctors' offices. In May, the Centers for Medicare and Medicaid Services sent letters to some of the hospitals that have not complied, giving them 90 days to do so or potentially face penalties, including a $300 a day fine. A lot of members say until hospitals are fully compliant, our ability to use the data is limited, says Sean Greminger, Director of Health Policy at the Purchaser Business Group on Health, a coalition of large employers. His group and others have called for increasing the penalty for non-complying hospitals from $300 a day to $300 a bed per day. The fine would be bigger as the hospital gets bigger, Greminger said. That's the kind of thing they take seriously. Already though, I combined two different words. Already though, employers or insurers are eyeing the hospital data as leverage in negotiations, says Severn, Turquoise's CEO. Conversely, some employers may use it to fire their insurers if the rates they're paying are substantially more than those agreed to by other carriers. It will piss off anyone who is overpaying for health care, which happens for various reasons, he said. And that's the end of the article there. So again, that's going to be from National Public Radio, Inc. I know how you guys like to talk mess when I don't leave the article or videos in the description. So I would try to do that as the live is uploading. I would try to add the article so you guys can read through it if you would like to. But I told you what it was. This is what it is. We got a little bit of transparency when it comes to hospital pricing, but they are fighting us tooth and nail about it every step of the way. And this is how much they're fighting. We can't even come to an agreement on hospital transparency, let alone Medicare for all. even though we would actually save more money by having Medicare for all, even though it would make things a lot more easier. That's crazy. Oh, we are running out of time, folks. Let me see. What time is it? What time is it? Oh, it is 5:40. Fizzive. All right. How we doing, folks? How we doing? Let's see. All insurance in the U.S. is paid through taxation. Insurance companies get tens of billions from the government, plus the premiums, plus the tax penalty for not having insurance. I like the fact that you guys are having intelligent dialogue and conversations in the comment section. That is something to applaud, y'all. Yeah. I know it can get a little catty sometimes, get a little petty in comment sections, but it's important that we're having, what they say, National Petroleum Radio. It's important that we're having these conversations and these discussions. You know what I'm saying? So stay informed. For real, stay informed. This is actually a good thing, and I'm actually surprised that it was the Trump administration who came up with this, who enacted this law. It started with the Trump administration. That's pretty good. I vaguely remember this coming out or something about this too. And don't get it twisted. Trump did a few good things. He was probably an a-hole. You know what I'm saying? Well, I know he's an a-hole. He made a lot of mistakes, but he did a few good things, regardless of why he did them. The optics of it, whatever. They all do it for the optics. That's nothing new. And he did do them though. My bro, I was just talking to my bro, and he was saying how he likes, he messes with Trump because he made it so that he got out of jail early. So that's the reason why he was like, no, he made it so that I got out early. So, and he did that for a lot of people. So there's a lot more black people than a lot of people think that support Donald Trump. And that's why he was so much of a threat. That's why he continues to be a threat. And I never wanted to come out here and make this channel a Trump channel, or we're gonna hate Trump channel. And a lot of people get mad that I don't talk about the right, or I don't go after the right as much. It's because, somebody said in the comment section, you go after the other team, not your own. I mean, you go after your own, but how did he word it? It was like, you go after your own because they're your own. You know what I'm saying? If you want to get better, you don't critique the other team. You critique your team. And that was just something that I thought about. It was very smart words. Very smart words. Let me see. I'll be right back here. All right. You don't change minds, preaching to the choir. Amen. Amen. Praise hallelujah. Praise hallelujah. Thank you, Jesus. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, Lord. Thank you. You don't? Yeah, exactly. Exactly. So let me see. What did I want to do here to close out this live? Remember that supposed lefty shows are still lying to you. Remember that they're trying to distract from the point. And that is their pro-corporate, pro-neoliberalism, regime change, pro-war stances. I think this is what it all boils down to. Think about why they never say, how are we going to pay for that? Every time we raise or give more money to the military and raise the military budget, they never ask how we're going to pay for that. It's never like front page news. How are we going to pay for that? Well, it's just implied that, yeah, of course, we're going to give all the money to the military. It's just implied. It's implied. It's like, this is what we do. This is like, but whenever it's something for the small guy, for the little person, that's when we have to have all this debate about, how much is this going to cost and where we're going to get the money from. And, what I'm saying? That's why we can't Medicare for all, because supposedly, we don't know where to get the money. We don't know where to get the money. I'm going to move this. It don't even do nothing. You don't even do nothing. All right. So let me get into this right here. I just wanted to get into this because and I know a lot of you don't want to hear it, but I just wanted to get into this response real quick because they had some things to say. Um, TYT has been doubling and tripling and quadrupling down, as we all know, and they've recently been going after, like I believe, Rania Khalek and Glenn Greenwald. They've been going after, and let me just play this right here. Glenn Greenwald actually responded on the Vanguard. So let me type in the Vanguard here. I want to play the part where he talks about that situation. He doesn't have a lot to say on the situation, but I think it was pretty cool. I think it was enough. What more can you really say about this whole thing? Like, it's either, you know what I'm saying, like they tried to get Jimmy with the, oh, we gotcha, you said this, and really you said you didn't want to talk about it, but then you came and you talked about it months ago. Like, he never mentioned who it was, and then they try to say that, oh, see, we gotcha, we gotcha. Jimmy accused Anna of being paid by NATO. Not NATO. No, not NATO. Not NATO, the Atlantic Church. No, not NATO. Oh my goodness gracious. Oh my goodness gracious. Not like it's a foreign power with nukes that we're so-called enemies with, or rebels, or rivals, rival country, rival governments. Like, that's crazy. But yeah, that's what they said. That's what they're going with, y'all. So that's their big we gotcha right there. Let me find this little bit here where Glenn Greenwald, try to say that 3 times fast, where he responds to TYT's bullcrap. We'll play it right here so you guys can take a listen.
Yeah. Well, I want to get back to real quick this Jink thing, because he's melting. Yeah, he's melting down on Twitter, and
he's like, I want to get back to this Jink thing. Glenn's like, yeah, me too. We really got to get back to this thing. We really got to get back to this. All right, but no. Because, you know, it's crazy the amount of journalists and people that are actually, like, on the ground, the lack of respect that they have for journalism is amazing. Amazing.
Melting down on YouTube. And I wanted to quickly get your reaction to the first minute or so of this video, where he lays out your journalistic credibility rather, and then questions it. So I just want to get your response to this.
So we're going to do a bonus episode here about Glenn Greenwald's attack on Anna. It was vicious and it was completely false. And I'm going to prove it to you guys. I'm going to show you the tapes. And it's, first of all, really disappointing and sad to see, because Glenn, I thought, was a real journalist. And we've praised him on the show many times. And he did some amazing stories in the past. Including, of course, the Edward Snowden story, and I think Edward Snowden's an American hero. This is a great story about Brazil. But after watching this, I was further heartbroken, because I think now I'm not really sure about any of his past stories. Did he hide evidence on purpose in all of those?
So, yeah, do you have any response to that, Glenn? Did you hide evidence in your previous breaking reports?
Did you, Glenn? Did you hide evidence, Glenn? Did you hide evidence? Because clearly you hid evidence in this. You can't be trusted on the wide range of stories. You can never be trusted again, because this right here, this is groundbreaking.
What bombshell reporting are you hiding to get another Kremlin infiltrator into the White House?
I mean, first of all, it's heartbreaking.
Let me just rewind. This is from WikiLeaks here. Not WikiLeaks. I'm sorry. It's not from WikiLeaks. Wikipedia. No relation. So we go to Wikipedia here. Glenn Greenwald. This is just what's up publicly. Glenn Edward Greenwald, born March 6, 1967, is an American journalist, author, and lawyer. Just pointing that out there. In 1996, he founded his own law firm, which concentrated on First Amendment litigation. He began blogging on national security issues in October 2005, while he was becoming increasingly concerned over what he viewed to be attacks on civil liberties by the George W. Bush administration in the aftermath of the September 11 attacks, the 9/11 attacks. He became a vocal critic of the Iraq War and has maintained a critical position of American foreign policy. Greenwald started contributing to Salon in 2007 and to The Guardian in 2012. In June 2013, while at The Guardian, he began publishing a series of reports detailing previously unknown information about American and British global surveillance programs based on classified documents provided by Edward Snowden. His work contributed to The Guardian and The Washington Post, winning a Pulitzer Prize. And he won the 2013 George Polk Award along with 3 other reporters, including Laura Poitras. Sorry if I'm mispronouncing that. In 2014, Greenwald, Poitras, and Jeremy Scahill launched The Intercept, for which he was co-founding editor until he resigned in October 2020. We remember that. Greenwald subsequently started publishing on Substack, an online newsletter-based journalism platform. That is what is on Wikipedia about Glenn Greenwald. This is the person that TYT is choosing to come after and to attack. This is unbelievable, but this is, and this is why I want to point it out. The reason why I want to point it out is because TYT, they're trying to put themselves on such a high horse as if they are the epitome of what it is to be a newscaster and a journalist. You know, they sit up there with their suits on and their button-up shirts, you know what I'm saying, and their new suits and their new skirts, and they sit up there and they preach on their high horse when they have such a dark, raunchy, and disgusting past, and it's quite telling. It's quite telling. And they have the nerve to go after people that actually speak truth to power, go after people like Jimmy Dore over nothing. They go after people like Aaron Matei. They go after Glenn Greenwald. They go after all of these journalists, these people that actually dedicate their lives to journalism. And you have a YouTube, an entertainment, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, there's, really? Is that where you want to go with this? Meanwhile, Anna's in the background, not saying a word. She's in the background now. Still, she's somewhere with what's her name? She still didn't come out and say nothing. Did she? She still hasn't come out and said it. Please tell me somebody said something. Please tell me that Crystal came out and said something. TYT is doing this because they want to push. They want to push more war. They've been told to put. They want to push war. TYT is pro-war, and a lot of people that agree with TYT, a lot of so-called leftist shows or progressive shows, are pro-war, pro-imperialism, pro-regime change, pro-corporate. You know, they may be left on some issues. They may be left on some issues. You know what I'm saying? So, but we have to recognize the difference. And when I see stuff like this, when I think about it, I don't see myself reflected. I don't see, you know, it's a difference. It's a clear difference. It's like I'm radical. I don't know, socialist. I don't know what the word is yet, but it's, you know, it was progressive, but now that word has been hijacked, you know, it's just like, well, quote unquote leftist, whatever. But we're not the same. We are not all the same, and that's clear. Now, that doesn't mean that we can't work together on issues that we agree. You know, just like we can work with the right, or just like we can work with libertarians or people in the middle, independents, whatever. But it does mean that we do have to recognize that difference. There's a reason we're all here. There's a reason people are turning away from TYT and TYT-related shows. There's a reason people keep lumping TYT in with Sham Cedar and David Hackman and Benjamin Dixon. There's another one I had for that, but I'm not going to say it on this one. I'm not going to say it. I'm trying to keep it clean, but there's a reason why their shows are so similar. And I've come to that realization. I read that comment, and I don't remember who left that comment, but I read it, and I was like, you're right. You're right. We don't have enough parties in this country. So we're forced to believe that you're either left or you're right, or there's nothing. And that's completely false. That is completely false. There are spectrums to this, just like there are spectrums to everything else. And when you try to, it's like, you know, when people try to put you in a box, you know, and you know that you're more than what people try to, you know, paint you as, and you're desperately trying to tell them like, no, I'm something more, and they're like, no, you got to be this way or you got to be that way, you know. It's crazy. No, it's more to it than that. So let me go ahead and jump into the rest of this video here. Glenn Greenwald is going to finish responding to TYT's nonsense.
That my journalism is no longer respected by one of the giants of journalism, Cenk Uygur, or the giants of YouTube. We can say it literally. That's true.
Yeah.
But I do think it's funny too that he's kind of ready to go back and say like, hey, you know, in second thought, now that like he criticized us, maybe like Bolsonaro was kind of right. Maybe like he does belong in prison, and like Lula really did belong in jail. Maybe we should send Lula back to jail and like take away my Pulitzer and like go apologize to the NSA, because like we have to re-examine now everything that I've ever done.
Right.
Also, like I broke the story of Chelsea Manning being tortured in prison. Like maybe she was treated very well. Maybe I like hit all the evidence there too. So like the idea that like if you criticize Cenk, everything has to go and be reevaluated is just hilarious. But also, you know, the thing that I find so amazing about what he did there is that the real bulk of my article and my video was about something he didn't even mention, which is the accusation, the false accusation that Aaron Mate was being paid by the Russians.
Right.
That's what he's doing there, is he's pathetically and cowardly hiding behind Anna.
It's so obvious.
And yeah, and her supposed, you know, that, and like, you know, that was the criticism that Jimmy had voiced. And when he got that DM was like, the reason they're going to Me Too me is because they don't have the courage to just admit that they fabricated these accusations. They want to distract your attention and turn themselves into the victim.
And that's exactly what happened. They're sitting there trying to be outraged. They're trying to drum up support by spreading that emotion of outrage, and they're trying to make other people feel outraged like they supposedly feel outraged. You know, and they're trying to use that to try to garner support. And it's disgusting. They're in the process smearing journalists, award-winning journalists, and trying to get me Jimmy with. That's crazy.
And to watch Cenk say, I'm just so disturbed by Glenn Greenwald's attack on Anna, like he
Super disturbed. Super.
started to defend her honor, like the same guy who was like talking about how Lindsay Lohan is a whore and Britney Spears is showing off, like, yeah, exactly. So,
And again, you know what I'm saying? It's okay to have a past. It's okay to have one day you were just raunchy, you were one way and you changed, you had a coming to the light and you evolved. That's fine. But don't be a hypocrite. Don't be a hypocrite and try to make people out to be monsters when clearly you are way more of a monster than Jimmy could ever be. I mean, that's evident. You know, in more ways than one. You know, not to mention you being pro-war. But everything else, it's crazy, the level of projection. Oh my
you
goodness.
know, I think
Oh my
that
goodness.
other than like hardcore Young Turks fans, I don't think any, like, again, sometimes you're just blessed to have morons and idiots as your enemies. And in this case, I feel very blessed.
Yeah.
Boom. And in this case, we feel very blessed. That was Glenn Greenwald on the Vanguard YouTube channel. I like these guys. I haven't watched too much of them yet, but I'm going to go ahead and subscribe right now. You guys are watching this live. Well, listening to me do it live. Boom. Subscribe to the Vanguard. 2.8 thousand likes on this video. 66 Young Turk fans that downvoted. I'm just kidding. I don't know who downvoted, but it's entitled Glenn Greenwald Interview, discussing Cenk Uygur, TYT, Jimmy Dore, etc., etc., etc. The Vanguard Live. It's about an hour and 24 minutes long, 2 seconds. So you guys check that out. I will try to leave it in the description if you guys would like to view the video as long, in addition to the 2 articles that I read as well about how our healthcare prices and our evaluations and procedures and stuff like that how they're making those prices more transparent for the everyday consumer, and how that's supposed to help people so that, you know, if you knew that this hospital right here charged way less of a price than the hospital over there, you go to the one that was cheaper. You know, so that's basically what we covered in those stories. If you want those articles, I'll try to leave those in there too. I'm going to go ahead and wrap it up because I got to get ready for work. And until next time, folks, remember love, peace, and light. Until next time, yeah, like this video. If you haven't done so already, like the video. You might as well just like the video because you're just sitting right there on the phone or you on the computer watching me and you know you want to like. You know you want to like. All right, I'm going to try not to be too annoying. All right, comment, subscribe, ring that bell so you get notified when I do more lives, when I do more videos. All my information will be in the description so you guys can check it out if you want to support the show, if you want to catch me on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook. Let's see if I'll do an audio tonight. I might do an audio tonight. Let me know what you guys want to see more of. All right, leave me your thoughts in the comment section below. Until next time, folks, I'm out. Oh, and remember, don't let them distract you. Never let them distract you from the main points. All right, the main points. It's all about love, peace, and light, folks. That's what it's about. Until next time, I'm out. Are you sure you want to stop streaming? Yeah, I guess we can be sure we can stop streaming.